before, I didn't even get to ask you guys how your last week went. So you can just talk to yourself right now about how your last week went. All right, let's get started with the lesson. We're going to do lesson 8-4, angle relationships in circles. So our learning target will be 2. I will identify and find the different angle measurements formed by intersections of radii, segments, chords, secants, and tangent lines of a circle. So let's go ahead and get started. And it's a bit hard to scroll. All right. Central angles and intercepted arcs. So an angle measure of a central angle is congruent to the measure of the intercepted arc. So what does that try to tell us? It's saying that when you have your central angle, which is this x, that the intercepted arc, which is this red line, these are going to be equal. So if this purple one were 10, then that means the outer arc would also be 10. All right, so let's take a look at an example. Look at this. Find the measure of the angle x. I need to find this. Well, if you notice, the circle is 360 all the way around. So then from A to B is a diameter, so then half of a circle should be 180. Okay, well, if this section right here is already 120, okay, what is 180 minus the 120? 60. So therefore, that means that C to B is 60, and then therefore the central angle is also 60 degrees, and these are in degrees. So x equals 60 degrees. Okay, now let's add some algebra to it. Okay, so let's take a look at our first one here. Take a look at number 1. We want to find the value of x. Okay, well, we know that this central angle right here, the purple angle, is 2x minus 15, and we also know that its intercepted arc over here is 45. Well, what do we know about the central angle and this arc out here? They are congruent. So therefore, if we're going to set up an equation, we're going to set them equal to each other. So let's do that. We're going to do 2x minus 15 equals 45. Okay, and let's solve this equation. All right, we haven't solved equations in a little bit. Oh, go away. All right, so then let's go ahead and let's get rid of this 15. So we're going to add 15 because we're moving it over to the other side. We're going to add 15, bring down your 2x. So we have 2x equals 60. Now we're going to divide by 2. Divide by 2. So then x equals 30. Okay, so that's going to be the concept here. We're going to be setting a lot of things equal. Now we're also going to add things up to equal 180, but we'll see that here in a second. Okay, now take a look at 2. Don't let it confuse you. Okay, we have this arc in the inside with the 8, and then the x plus 1. But notice how the x plus 1 is in these parentheses right here. That's going to be important. Okay. All right, but let's not focus on that right now. So then we know that that's the 8 with the x plus 1 in the parentheses, and then look at the intercepted arc. It's A to C. So the 12 with the x minus the 4 in the parentheses. Now, we're going to set them equal, but remember, before we do that, what are we going to have to do with this? What is it called, this deal? Go ahead and say it out loud right before I say it. Yes, that's the distribution. We're going to be using the distribution property. Okay, so then let's go ahead and we're going to do 8. Here's x plus 1 in parentheses equals 12 x minus 4 in parentheses. Okay, so now we're going to have to distribute the distributive property. Okay, so then we're going to have 8x, so 8 times x is 8x. 8 times 1 is 8. 12 times x is 12x. And 12 times negative 4 is negative 48. So then there's our equation. Now let's solve this. All right, first I'm going to move this 8 over. So I'm going to subtract the 8x. That gets rid of that. Bring down your 8. 12x minus 8x is 4x. Bring down your negative 48. Okay, let's move this 48 over. So we're going to add 48. Add 48. That is Ray, my dog, Ray. Okay, now 8 plus 48 is 56. And then our last step is to divide by 4. So then we get x equals 14. Okay, and let me write that more clearly here. X equals 14. All right, you guys. So if I go a little bit too fast, you can go ahead and either pause the video as I do steps, or just rewind it and see if you can follow along the second time around. All right, but let's go to 3. All right, so look at number 3. This one's a little bit different than the rest. Okay, because notice we have from R to S is going to be the 15x minus the 26. And then S to T is going to be just the 26. But what do we know about this whole thing? What do we know about the blue and the green? It makes half a circle, which is how much? Say it out loud. 180. So then we're going to add these two. Look, we're going to have to add the blue plus the green. We're going to have to add them up, set it equal to 180. So let's do that. We're going to do 15x minus 26 plus 26 equals 180. So then let's go ahead and solve this equation. We're going to combine like terms. So look at this. I'm going to circle what we're going to combine. Underline the x's. All right, so what is negative 26 plus 26? 0. So these essentially cancel out. So bring down your 15x equals 180. And then we're going to divide by 15. Cancels out. So we get x equals 36. All right, very good, you guys. I want you to go ahead and try the next one on your own. This one's a little bit tricky, but I want you to try it on your own, especially those of you in pre-AP. See if you can do this one, okay? I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and then we'll come back with all the answers. Okay, I know that was quite a bit of work, but let's take a look at this. So look at this. We have the 17x minus 41 and the 5x plus 23. So we know that they should add up to equal 180 because it's half of a circle. Okay, so you add them up to equal 180. You solve, we get x equals 9. So there we go. Now, in order to get these other answers, look, if x equals 9, to get jk, which is this one, we just need to plug it into there. So 5x plus 23. 5x, which is 9, 5 times 9 plus 23, 68. Okay, let me choose another color right here. Oops. Okay, now take a look at the next one. In order to find MJ is this one up here. Okay, but that angle is the same as this one down here. So then if we just plug in our x value right here, so 17 times 9 minus 41, we get the 112. And then finally, for the last one, this one is the most difficult. So let's see. If we're trying to find LMK, so look, it's all of this. So we're going to do 68 plus 112 plus 68, which we get 248. All right, so hopefully you got those correct, but let's go ahead and move on. All right, so let's continue on with inscribed angles. Okay, now this is going to be similar to central angles, just a slightly different. Okay, so let's take a look. It says that the central angle equals the measure of the intercepted arc. So that means the central angle is equal to this one. So if this one were 10, this intercepted arc would be 10. But what about the inscribed angle? Look, inscribed angle is half the central angle and half the intercepted arc. So look at this. If the intercepted arc is 10 from here to here, notice how it goes through the entire circle. That's the inscribed angle, and it is half of it. So if the intercepted arc and the central angle are both 10, then the inscribed angle would be 5. Notice the difference. The central angle is from the middle, the intercepted arc goes through the entire circle. So if it's in the middle, it's equal. If it goes through the entire circle, the inscribed angle, it is half. Half of 10 is 5. So let's take a look at the example problem here. Here we have that the central angle is 90. So we're trying to find x. That means that my intercepted arc right here is going to be the same as the central angle, which is 90. But the inscribed angle goes all the way through the circle. So then this angle has to be half of 90. So 90 divided by 2 is 45 degrees. That means that this part is 45 degrees. So x is 45 degrees. All right, let's try some problems. So then let's take a look at number 1. Now we're going to solve some equations together, but now I'm going to start letting you solve equations on your own, okay? So let's take a look at this one. We have, here's my inscribed angle. Notice that it goes all the way through, so I know it's the inscribed angle. It's not in the center. Okay, not in the center. All right, so then here's my intercepted arc, 60. Now there's two ways you can do this. The inscribed angle is half of the 60. So half of 60 is 30. So then I can set 5x equals 30. Okay, and let's solve this equation real quick. Divided by 5, x equals 6. That's one way of solving it. Now you could go the other way around. Look at this. 5x is half of 60. So couldn't I double the 5x? So couldn't I also do 10x equals 60 and divide by 10? Notice how you get the same answer. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and do it this way most of the time just because it makes the equation easier to work with. So let's go ahead and continue that. This next one's a little bit confusing. All right, so let's take a look at this. We're looking for angle A. Now notice A starts right here and it goes from here to here. So when it wants the measure of angle A, it wants all of this right here. So what is 100 plus 90? 190 degrees. So then this is 190 degrees. Okay. False alarm, not 190 degrees. Remember, we're talking about the inscribed angle. It would be 190 degrees if I were from the center, but it's not. So the inscribed angle is half. So then we're going to have to take the 190 and divide it by 2. And if we divide it by 2, we get 95 degrees. So then A is going to be 95 degrees. Now I'm going to go ahead and erase it because this is going to get a little bit messy if I don't. Okay, but now let's do B. Look at B. Looking at this angle. Notice how B goes from here to here. So it's talking about all of this. So then we have to add these two angles. 90 plus 64. Okay, 90 plus 64 is 154. That's the intercepted arc, 154, but the inscribed angle is half. So I need to divide it by 2. Okay, and divided by 2 is 77. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and give you time. Go ahead and pause the video and you see if you can do the next two on your own. Okay, I hope you were able to get those. We have C as 85 and D as 103. So for C, you did 106 plus 64 divided by 2 is 85. For D, you did 106 plus 100, which is 206. 206 divided by 2 is 103. All right, so see if you can rewind the video if you need to see that again, or let's just continue on. And trying to go scroll. Okay, let's take a look at this next one. Notice that these are the inscribed angles. So notice how x is inscribed. So half of 30 is 15. Half of y is 15. Therefore, x and y are both 15. X and y are both 15. Now take a look at this one. Here we kind of have a triangle. But how do I know what this angle is right here? Notice how it goes from D all the way to C. So that's half of a circle, which is 180. Therefore, the inscribed angle right here should be 90. Now, go ahead and pause the video and see if you know what we do to all these. All right, so they add